classic Legacy matchup.
It is, and I'm interested to see Infect's position in the format moving forward. Ren and 6 has taken up so much of the market share, and the battles are really about getting Ren and 6 onto the battlefield, being able to win counter wars over it, and then leveraging Wasteland or playing around it. A lot of the architecture you want around that sort of thing comes at the expense, looking at these deck lists, of spot removal, especially cheap spot removal. We're seeing more cantrips in these Delver lists at the expense of cards that used to be there, like Chain Lightning or Fork Bolt. And that could bode very well for Infect, regardless of whether this deck ends up incorporating Ren and 6 in the long term.
Well, both these players are waiting for the green light from us, and they will be underway here to get round number 10 started. Keep in mind, Nick Miller will have a metagame breakdown here for you later today. We'll be making a cut to the top 8 after round number 15, and then we got to play out, of course, our elimination rounds and crown champion here this weekend. So we've got a lot in front of us here this weekend in Syracuse. We're happy to have you along with us early this morning, as a Glistener Elf via Tropical Island is how we are going to get this party started. For Walker, he's got a Misty Rainforest. He'll simply pass the turn back. We go back over to Barich, attacking for 1 Infect damage right now. That'll work. And we'll see what the follow-up is here, as we have no points of regular damage dealt to Walker just yet. There's your Tom Ross Infect token, a staple here on the SCG Tour, as another Glistener Elf will be played and resolve a Wasteland and a passing of the turn here from Barich to Walker.
So Barich incorporating a pretty light splash of Ren and 6, 2 copies of Wasteland in the deck, alongside a Waterlogged Grove, and 2 copies of Ren and 6. So not really going all in on the new Planeswalker, just incorporating a small splash. Wasteland, a card you can play in Infect regardless.
Now, Wasteland there from Walker, taking care of a Tropical Island there of Barich. Maybe trying to color screw Barich was Noah Walker, but that did not work. So an attack there for 2 Infect. We'll bring Noah up to 3. It's 7 to go here for Aaron. And now it's another Knucklehead here in Glistener Elf via another Tropical Island.
And Walker's list, as is typically the case, no basic lands in it. So he's got to be really cautious of when he wants to sacrifice this Misty Rainforest and what he wants to do with the mana, because it's not going to be available for very long.
In classic Teamer Delver fashion, 6 fetchable lands, 3 Tropical Islands, 3 Volcanic Islands, 4 Wastelands as well. So Walker will play a Volcanic Island. He'll sacrifice the Misty Rainforest and deploy a Ren and 6, or at least try to, as there's a powerful Planeswalker. Wasteland's going to go after a land here with Ren and 6 on the stack. And I'm not sure if that's exactly what Barich wanted to do, because this does not actually play around days particularly well.
Yeah, I mean, the Wasteland tapping for mana plays around days just as well as Wastelanding Walker in response. Plays around double days exactly the same way.
So Barich says, I'm not sure I actually want to do that. I think allowed to go back on that play at this moment. So yes, these 2 players agree to an unwind. There is a daze on a Ren and 6. And so now Barich will draw a card, play the Trop. There's an attack for 3. This is an Invigorate. That is a game ender. So Aaron Barich is going to quickly win game number 1 here over Noah Walker. Teamer Infect up a game over Teamer Delver.
Walker had nothing to do with 1 mana, nor the ability to play around Wasteland, and that combination meant that he couldn't get anything onto the battlefield. Barich made quick work of it.
Pretty straightforward and easy stuff there for Aaron Barich, former Invitational champion she is. We go look at Noah Walker's sideboard. Tons of one-ofs along with those 2 Surgical Extractions. You'll find a Force Negation and Jace the Mind Sculptor. In a Braid, an Ancient Grudge, a Crop Rotation, a Pyroblast, a Red Elemental Blast, a Vapor Snag. Submerge Karakas, Hydroblast, Magmatic Sinkhole, and Dismember. Plenty of spot removal to be brought in here.
A lot of really good cards and a lot of really good cheap cards, and that's the mixture you need in this kind of matchup. Dismember, Magmatic Sinkhole, Submerge, Vapor Snag, the Red Elemental Blast, the Pyroblast. You can even go as deep as Ancient Grudge and a Braid in this kind of matchup as a way of handling Inkblot Nexus. A lot of really good options for Walker to lower his curve and get more interaction in the deck.
Seems like this matchup's got to be at least pretty good game 1. I know that Walker lost it, but it looks like it's only getting better after sideboard.
Definitely. I mean, these lists, when you start cutting bolts for cards like Preordain, I think that's really good for Infect. You need as much spot removal as possible to have a good matchup game number 1. Looks like Walker's trying to catch up a little bit post board. He's got 7, 8 good cheap cards to bring in.
For Aaron Barich, it's 3 Veil Summer, 2 Force of Vigor, 2 Surgical Extraction, and then she's got plenty of 1-ofs as well. Ancient Grudge and Caracas, a Bajuka Bog, along with another copy of Force of Will. Blue Elemental Blast, Pyroblast, Submerge, and a copy of Dead Gone.
So I like the Veil of Summers in this matchup. Opportunity cost is very low, and there's spots where it's going to be really good. I don't know if you want to go so deep as to bring in, let's say, Pyroblast and Blue Elemental Blast. There are some targets, but those are cards that can easily line up the wrong way depending on what Walker's bringing to the table. I also like the 1 Submerge in this matchup.
So those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 will be underway here in just a moment. Both of these players have had a ton of success in the Legacy format here on the SCG Tour. So we'll get to watch game number 2 unfold momentarily. But in the meantime, let's talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale, where you can save hundreds, and I mean hundreds, on hundreds of singles through Monday.
The savings are literally a function of how many cards you buy.
That's correct.
So head over to go.starcitygames.com/sale and save hundreds, probably I would guess
thousands.
Tens of thousands of dollars if you just bought everything that's there right now, including Liliana, Opalescence, Restore Balance, and a personal favorite. Not really, I hated this card when I was a kid. Thawing Glaciers.
Go.starcitygames.com/sale. New sale will be up Monday. That's tomorrow at 11 a.m. East Coast time. We head back to our match. We learn a little bit more about the member of Team Nova. That is Aaron Barich, 22 years old, from Gulfport, Mississippi. Last year, 14 Opens played with only 1 Open top 8. You take a look at the all-time. You've got 9 Open top 8s with 2 wins and an invitational top 8. And that win, she does some streaming on twitch.tv/RuneClawBarich.
Racked up an Open win earlier this year.
That's true.
Mono red aggro.
Yeah, that's true. Release weekend defeating one Ross Merriam in the finals. Ross playing mono blue, a matchup you experienced in the room a little earlier this morning.
I can't believe I finally won.
I can't believe it either, beating 2 Cerulean Drakes in game 2.
I know, down a game.
Yeah, could you get any luckier?
I don't know. Huh? I think I played that game pretty well, but no.
You must have, because you won.
I did.
You beat 2 pro-red creatures.
One of them eventually got that curiosity with 7 lines of text on it. What's it called?
Curious Obsession.
Curious
Doesn't have that much text.
It's a long one. It's a reader.
What it is powerful. And it's rotating. Unfortunately, I really like that mono blue deck.
Veil of Summer is heavy-handed.
They want that to be a
that is a card with some goals in mind.
Yeah.
It is not meant to just be another card among other cards.
No. Veil of Summer, very, very powerful. Multiple copies in Barich's sideboard. I have to imagine they've been good for her this weekend.
Well, in a wide array of matchups, it's going to be a 1-mana 2-for-1 at the floor.
Mm-hmm. And they can be a whole lot better than that.
Yep.
Which is pretty scary stuff.
I'm really happy that I don't play decks that Veil of Summer is good against, because if I kept running into this card, I would start to get the shakes.
Maybe. Well, that's.
I watch other people experience it, and I'm like, if this was me, I'd be losing my mind.
I haven't seen a great Veil of Summer blowout just yet. I'm waiting for it. I know it's coming.
Cerulean Drake's pretty powerful.
Yes.
But there's spots where, I've got 2 creatures with 2 toughness, and we just play on. Like, it's just doing its thing, but, the game's not over. Don't mind that.
I'm just waiting for it. I want to see whatever the maximum is for Veil of Summer. I want to see that.
I also like when Cerulean Drakes are kind of floating around cards like that, because then I get to explore my favorite thing to do. Artifacts that are good against creatures with protection from red. For example, Pyrite Spellbound, Moonglove Extract, Rod of Ruin. The list goes on and on.
Go in the old garbage bin.
Juggernaut.
Well.
It's just.
Well. I
love to go deep with the sideboard.
I know you do.
Immolating Soul Eater was in my sideboard.
A really bad card.
In response to Time Reinforcements.
Yeah, it was really bad. And you know it was bad.
Yeah, but gotta try something.
Nah, just hope they don't draw it.
I just stopped going to events.
That was your fix.
Immolating Soul Eater was my last shot at it.
Here's a
because you see, you just hatred yourself down to 4 and then to 6. and then they can't timer you. What actually ends up happening is you lose to the tokens.
I was going to say, they make 3/1 and then you lose. Yeah.
Well, you know. At least we felt something.
We is strong. You did.
Yeah, and my opponent. There was an experience. It was a shared experience. You don't get a whole lot of those.
A ponder here from Noah Walker. A braid among the cards, it appears. He looks like he's going to keep. And he will pass the turn back over to Aaron Barich. Glistener Elves are more than enough to get it done last time for Barich. We'll see if that holds true again in this game. Barich actually taking a long thought on this, the first turn of the game.
Well, it's got to be Wasteland or a one-mana creature.
That's what I'm thinking, too. It's going to be Pendelhaven into Noble Hierarch. Pass the turn back.
It's the only thing to think about on the first turn.
That's what I'm thinking.
Pendelhaven, a nice opening here for Barich, as it's a way to play around the Submerge in Walker's hand. Would be interested to see if she's able to play around it forever. Because Pendelhaven plus your colorless lands, and Walker can't free roll the Submerge. It's unlikely, and who knows how much a Submerge is on Barich's radar anyway.
Oh, there's another Noble Hierarch. There's Inkmoth. And pass the turn back. All right, so still playing around Submerge. There's a Tropical Island. We head back over to Barich. There is the Nemesis Uncommon. If an opponent controls a forest, which Pendelhaven is not, and you control an island, which Noah Walker has multiples of, you may play Submerge without paying its mana cost. Put target creature on top of its owner's library.
All-time banger.
It's a heck of a Magic card.
This is floating around in Standard when literally the best card they would give green decks was Rancor.
Yeah.
Got a response.
Yeah. There is a Verdant Catacombs. This is an attack for 2.
And still no forest.
Nope. Well, there's a Brainstorm here from Walker. That's going to resolve. So 1 and 2 and 3 cards drawn for Noah.
And it wouldn't surprise me here if Walker was willing to spend a little bit of equity organizing his turn in such a way that made it attractive for Barich to crack her Verdant Catacombs, go get a Tropical Island, and battle back in some sort of counter war, so Walker can be assured that the Submerge is available to cast. Not saying he's going out of his way, he's not going to run his most valuable card into a Spell Pierce or some such, but he might be willing to be a little bit more aggressive here than normal, because there's something to be gained by forcing Barich's hand on finally getting a forest onto the battlefield. Will be interesting to see how he wants to navigate this one. The other option, I was going to say the other option is trying to Wasteland the Pendelhaven. That also might induce the same thing. But as long as Barich has a Noble Hierarch on the battlefield, she has access to green and blue mana that way too. So that might not be good enough.
Yeah, that's true.
But Wastelanding the Pendelhaven has its own value. The Pendelhaven is, could be valuable down the line here.
Well, the Brainstorm is done resolving. Now there's the Wasteland. Here's a Delver. And I'll pass the turn back. So Wasteland's going to hold tight for right now. Walker has not been given a huge reason to use it yet. Beatdowns. Same thing. A weird looking draw here from Barich. There's Tropical Island. So now Barich does control an island. Excuse me, a forest. For Walker's Submerge. Ancient Grudge is the reveal. I think he might fetch that away.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. But also, if Barich's only threat is Infect creature, might be worth keeping.
Yeah, if the only Infect threat that Barich has is that Inkmoth Nexus, it does make some sense to keep it. Could always brainstorm it away later, as there is a Renin 6. And this is a card that's going to actually force some action, pardon me, from Aaron Barich. Can't sit around any longer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of the push-pull for Infect in this matchup. These Delver lists are a lot shorter on spot removal than they used to be, but what they picked up is a 2-mana Visara that also lets them loop Wastelands.
It does, yes.
So, in some ways, them being down on their 1-mana interaction, that's good for you, but the downside of them having this card, you know, comes up too.
So Walker has resolved the powerful Planeswalker, just deciding how he wants to go about using it. Looks like he has some interest in firing off Wasteland on Pendelhaven to get this party started. That'll work. Up goes the elevator to 4 for Renin 6. Looks like he's targeting Wasteland. That will resolve. Wasteland will come back down.
I mean, Walker's at 15. And as a Wasteland, I'm a little surprised to see an attack here. It feels like his position is so much more powerful by sitting back on defense and forcing Barich to commit multiple game actions before responding with his own interaction.
I am slightly surprised by the attack as well.
Like, I don't understand what the rush is here. Your position's so commanding if the game goes on for a long time.
But I think Noah's probably trying to trap Barich a little bit here with the Wasteland, the Ancient Grudge, and not really showing Submerge right now. You don't know if that card's on Barich's mind.
I don't know. It's just, you know, a Wasteland and another mana up. And Barich sitting back on a handful of cards, there's no guarantee that you win whatever the counter war is, even if you have free spells for interaction.
Oh, here's Invigorate. This could be Noah Walker losing his copy of Renin 6. Walker is going to sacrifice a polluted Delta.
You know, how much better is Walker's spot here if that Delver is just back to block?
There's Submerge in response to the fetch. So Submerge is going to resolve. And Walker's going to have to lose the fetch land, lose the creature, given the sacrifice of the fetch land. So this is getting a little interesting. There's a lightning bolt on the Noble Hierarch. There is
Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce, okay. This is all in an effort to get Renin 6 off the battlefield, remember. Submerge. Alright, and there's Pyroblast. That's the red splash. Working itself into the equation, searching for a Taiga. So maybe that attack was a little bit greedy.
Well, if Barich has Submerge, it kind of didn't matter anyway.
Sure.
My instinct is just hang back on defense and force her to have as many cards as possible. But if Submerge was among them, then it doesn't really matter.
We're going to head back over to Walker now, who's lost his powerful Planeswalker and his transformed to Delver of Secrets. So the Wasteland recurring engine doesn't appear to be with us any longer. And he'll kill the Taiga and pass the turn back. A Wasteland here from Barich will take care of the Tropical Island.
Players in the 10-13 Legacy Challenge and 10-13 Sealed Spectacular. The beginning of
Inkmoths get fired up. They're going to attack one by one.
Barich doing this in an effort to sort of, to the best of her ability, play around an Ancient Grudge here. Cutting Walker off of green mana Takes care of the flashback considerations.
At least for now. Not anymore. Scalding Tarn off the top. 1 Infect here for Noah Walker. Here's an attack from Noble Hierarch for 2 Exalted. Walker will draw. We'll just simply pass the turn back over to Barich.
I think Barich just may be out of red mana on at this point. I think it might only be 1 copy of Taiga.
That's awkward. Brainstorm gets hit by a Pyroblast. We head back over to Walker. What I'm looking at is only that Taiga. It's not a huge red splash in the deck.
It really just, you know, the interesting thing now is just how many red cards are in the deck. I mean, just brought in the 1 copy of Pyroblast. That's accounted for. Don't even know if Ren 6 is still in the deck.
Well, Blighted Agent did resolve, and it's going to be targeted by an Abrade. Invigorate will be played for free to save the Blighted Agent, and it appears as though that's going to work. So we head back over to Noah Walker. He's got nothing going on, so we go back over to Barich. Here's an attack for 3 Infect. That's a Lightning Bolt. That ain't going to do it. That attack is thwarted by the powerful removal spell. It's a ponder now here for Noah Walker. He will take a look at the top 3 cards. If you're Noah, you got to be feeling pretty good about this game. We're going pretty late here. You're sitting at 14.
Drawing pretty heavy to a couple of cards, you know.
Yeah.
Ren 6 would be huge here. Handful of removal spells. And you could tell, for the most part against Infect, you want to be timing your removal spells outside of combat. Walker's played this matchup a ton of times and knows the same thing. That previous turn, with Walker bolting inside of combat after Barich made her Exalted attack, that suggests to me that Noah's hand is extremely good, that he felt that he could win any sort of fight in combat, and looked like a Dismember and Lightning Bolt were his leftovers, so you can understand why he felt that way.
Tarmogoyf fits a 5/6. Walker's sitting on 13 with 1 Infect. Inkmoth Nexus will get fired up.
Now this might be a spot where Walker holds tight and takes the 2 and then grudges end of 3 rather, and then grudges end of turn.
Looks like no move at all. He'll just take the 3 Infect, move up to 4. Here comes Tarmogoyf. Like Walker using his life total and Infect total as a resource this game. Not in a big rush at all.
And with that amount of mana, I think Walker was probably just loath to play into a potential daze.
There's a Glistener Elf. This is an attack with Noble Hierarch. And we head back Noah Walker's way. Goyf's going to come on in here again. Delver of Secrets post-combat. There's Lightning Bolt on the Glistener Elf. And Vine to the Vastwood is going to protect it. So this is a lot of what this matchup is. It's a lot of plays and counterplays. Now here's Dismember. Walker's willing to lose 4 life to try to win this battle over the Glistener Elf.
Yeah, the timing of all this, of the removal spells, is really the key to the way the game plays. And both players do a lot to sort of signal the nature of their hand by when they choose to pick their fights and how they time things.
Force of Will. Exiling a Daze means that Delver is done for. We head back over to Walker, who's still got his 5/6 Tarmogoyf. And it looks like Noah Walker's chilling at 5 life. Excuse me, Aaron Barich chilling at 5 life right now. Here's Scrumscoif. There's your predictable block. Now it's a True Name Nemesis with protection from Aaron Barich. As Aaron will draw. Remember, there is an Ancient Grudge in the graveyard. Still going to fire up that Inkmoth Nexus anyway. 6 Infect now, pass the turn back. Walker will draw.
And Walker still not willing to pick any sort of fight if it's short of lethal. Does not want to get trapped by a Vines over the top inside of combat or some such.
Well, that's a heck of a draw step. Brainstorm it is. Maybe Legacy's best card, resolving here for Walker in a crucial spot. Picked up a copy of Lightning Bolt. 2 cards will go back. It's beatdowns with Tarmogoyf and True Name Nemesis.
Walker just going through the motions here, but I think we're going to see a lethal bolt after that True Name hits.
There is that bolt, and that is going to do it. So, Noah Walker's going to win this game over Aaron Barich. Teamer Delver and Teamer Infect will get ready for a third and final one to get our first round here, round number 10, underway. 2 of our very best players in the room doing what they do best with decks they know very well.
And so you got to see Walker kind of come to the table with a lot more 1 and 0 man interaction in that game, which gave him a bit more breathing space to leverage Ren 6. Not that Ren 6 ran away with the game, but even at its floor there was still excellent. Really bled a lot of resources from Barich, and eventually Walker able to close out the game with some big threats.
Well, these players are going to get shuffled up here for game number 3. We want to give a shout out to our sponsor, starting with our friends over at Carnox. They've got you back, and so do we. You can save 10% at checkout when you visit carnox.com/SCG. Get one of these comfy chairs that myself, Patrick, Nick Miller, everybody in the sideboard, and of course our feature match players are sitting in here this weekend. Again, Carnox, we've got your back. Carnox.com/SCG.
Try living how we live for a minute and see how you like it.
There's the big sell. That's the hard sell in the Carnox chairs. Also,
yeah, imagine yourself living like this.
Also, our friends over at Ultimate Guard are going to take a little bit of your time. Big shout out to all our sponsors here on the SCG Tour, our friends over at Carnox and Ultimate Guard. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, we're here in the booth. Brian Gottlieb, Craig Krempels, they'll be bringing you the next 2 rounds of action. And of course, we've got Nick Miller, he's doing your deck techs, picking your feature matchups, doing your player spotlights all weekend long as we are in round number 10 of competition here in Syracuse. Pretty large day number 2 of competition, 6-3 was the cut. We've got Aiden Breyer on top of the standings in first place. Aaron Barich and Noah Walker at 8-1, very close to the top of the standings. And wouldn't be surprised to see either player make it into the elimination rounds later this evening.
My tablet's out of battery, so you got to carry this round. I can't see the decks.
Okay.
It's out of battery.
They're what you think. Okay.
What do you mean?
The contents of the decks, I bet you could write out 55 of the 60 cards in their main deck, and then we can bring the sideboards on screen. You'll be okay. Plus our friends over at Cardboard Live helping us out. Those deck lists, they're on the screen for our players at home to click on. All that good stuff. That's called branding. Let's do a little bit of marketing of Noah Walker. Boom. That's a fresh cut. 23 years old, Amherst, Massachusetts. Last year he played in 7 opens, top 8 at 3 of them. That's a pretty good rate. Open top 8's 12, wins 3. Some of them have been in Legacy. Beat Jerry T in the finals in Philly. He also peed his pants once when he was 12, which, that's tough.
I don't know. I think it's charming that you would be willing to reveal something like that about yourself on a player profile.
Doesn't make it less tough.
No, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
If peeing your pants is cool, I'm Miles Davis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that's from?
Some Adam Sandler movie, I think.
That's right, Billy Madison.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I'm impressed you knew that. You don't strike me as someone who likes Adam Sandler at all.
I'm not a fan of most actors.
Oh, that's just something you would say.
Right. So,
do you have a favorite actor? Can I guess? Can I guess who it is? I know who it is. I know who it is.
Go for it.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
I do love his work.
Of course you do.
But no,
of course.
I don't think he's my favorite.
Okay.
To think about it.
All right. He's such a master of the craft.
He is.
I figured you'd love his work. Lincoln, There Will Be Blood, and other movies that are long and somewhat boring.
I wasn't a huge fan of There Will Be Blood. I thought it was good, but I was not.
I think it's a touch overrated.
It's a little monotonous and droning and hyper intense.
So slow.
Yeah. It's cool. I get why but it's not really for me.
I hope your answer is like out of the box. It's like Vin Diesel.
I like John Turturro a lot.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good. Did some really nice work in the Transformers series.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
He's got a wide range.
Yeah.
Let's go. He's got a wide range. He'll take on any role. A Delver of Secrets is going to get this party started. Veil of Summer looks like it's going to be cycled for Barich. Is there a particular movie that you like John Turturro in?
Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
Okay.
John Malkovich grades very highly for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great in Rounders.
Have you ever seen Burn After Reading?
I have.
John Malkovich in Burn After Reading is a source of personal inspiration.
Gotcha. John Turturro also in Rounders. Kanish.
Forgot.
And in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done some roles. Barrett's doing a little bit of brainstorming right now. I'll be putting 2 cards back here in just a moment. There we are. And Barrett will pass the turn back. Checking with Delver. It's a whiff here for Noah Walker. Easy part. Oh, yeah. Serve it up with a smile and a little style. Going to sacrifice a misty rainforest. No stifles here. Clear for takeoff. That's a tropical island.
I don't know the name of the actor, but whoever plays Malcolm in the Thick of It is an absolute master.
Is In the Thick of It the name of a movie?
No, it's a television show. I think it's The Thick of It.
Not Malcolm in the Middle.
No.
That's what Google brings up on the auto search. Apparently his name... I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Random actor. Ponder Delver.
Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. I only know him from that work.
I don't know.
It is brilliant.
I don't know who that is. I don't know what this show is.
It's a comedy about the broad dysfunction and apathy of British national politics. And he is sort of a chief of staff figure who's just incredibly verbally abusive and to his just dull-witted staff.
I see.
You would love it.
I would love it.
You would love
I would love it.
You would
Okay.
love it.
Okay. Days took care of the Delver. Brainstorm's going to transform the Delver that's on the battlefield. It's an insectile aberration now, and the very powerful Brainstorm has been added to hand. It's an attack here for 3 from Walker. Barrett's going to fall down to 14. The follow-up is that Brainstorm. We'll see if this does resolve, and it will. So 3 cards coming from Walker. 2 cards will be going back momentarily for our 8-1 Teamer Delver player.
Have you ever watched Veep?
I've seen like an episode or two. I know the show's very good.
So I think part of the humor, the underpinning humor, is they don't really say what party anyone's from because it's irrelevant.
Sure.
And the thing of it has the same sort of, that same sensibility.
I saw an episode on an open weekend with OSIP, like in our hotel room after day one, and I thought it was very funny, even though I didn't even really know what was going on.
Yeah.
So it makes me want to watch all of it. I know there's a bunch of seasons.
Yeah.
It's a highly regarded show.
Yeah. I think Veep is quite good,
Yeah.
but the thing of it is really, that's my kind of jam.
Scalding Tarn the land after the brainstorm is going to make it a perfect brainstorm, given the fetch and the shuffling as we head back over to Barich. Barich got nothing going on.
No action. And kind of under the burden to get something going now, under the threat of insect aberration. Post-board is just so much more complicated against all of Walker's cheap interaction. Often people think, oh, you don't like things, you don't think things are funny. If you want to understand my humor, cue up the thick of it. You will get a better sense of.
Here's Brainstorm. You find plenty of things funny. It's just
Dark Place.
It's just a different sense of humor.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, also very high on my list.
Never heard of it.
Another BBC comedy.
Of course.
I think BBC. I'm not 100%, but pretty sure.
It's a lengthy brainstorm here from Aaron Barich. She's not quite sure which cards to put back. Now she's got it figured out. That's a Wooded Foothills. That's a passing of the turn. This is bad news for her. As Noah Walker doesn't even sacrifice the fetch land. Draws one of the cards that was put back from the brainstorm. That is a copy of Renin 6.
It's like, let's just see what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
why aren't you doing anything? Tropical Island after sacrificing the Wooded Foothills.
Barich did keep 7, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. A suspicious draw so far.
There's a Spell Pierce. It's all very reactive, apparently. Back to Barich.
Part of the issue, you know, if you're trying to set up shop here so you can play around interaction, Walker's marquee interaction is Lightning Bolt. And if you wait long enough, you can just die to bolts at you rather than at your threat cards.
It's part of the appeal of the deck. As a Blood Agent's going to resolve. Pendelhaven wants to land for the turn there for Aaron. Noah's going to sacrifice Scalding Tarn, get himself a Volcanic Island. Lightning Bolt will be hit with a daze. We're heading back over to Noah.
Walker's hand has to be fairly clogged with relatively expensive cards at this stage of the game to be willing to play into a daze with a spell as good as Lightning Bolt.
It's either clogged or very good.
Yeah.
That he's simply willing to throw away a card.
That's a different version of clogged.
Sure.
That doesn't necessarily mean bad. It's just he's got 3 mana. In the last game, we saw him go through some great lengths to not flash back the Grudge with his remaining mana in some spots where it seemed good because it could turn on a potential daze from Barich. We want to use a Lightning Bolt here when he has 3 total mana. That suggests a hand that, you know, he's at risk of not being able to get all the spells out of his hand in time.
Well, the hand right now has Bolt, Tarmogoyf, Renin 6.
Yeah, not surprising to see multiple 2s in that sort of hand, if he was willing to play into daze that way.
There's Bolt again. Barich will sacrifice the Windswept Heath. And it's a blue Elemental Blast. All right. Pendelhaven at the ready. Pendelhaven does a nice job of protecting against Renin 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's worth noting here in this situation.
No Wasteland to loop, so it's there for now.
Beatdowns with the Insectile Aberration. Goyf. Well, no Walker can die right now. And Barich drew their card very, very quickly. Here's an attack.
We got to see it. I mean, it's lethal on the way back, so here we go.
It's become immense now.
And Barich not doing anything with the Pendelhaven here suggests
another spell.
Very lethal hand. I mean, we're going to find out. No, like I said, Noah's got lethal on the way back.
Yeah, there's free. Yep, that's it. That's it. Aaron Barich is going to win this game and match over Noah Walker, a very reactive fan.